Hi, welcome to this week's Fundraising Friday. As you can see, I've moved back into my office space and, more importantly, got a haircut, which means that we are moving from the crisis phase into the recovery phase of the pandemic. We don't know how long it's going to last or what this phase is going to look like. But it's important now that your nonprofits start to move from disaster to recovery as well and start thinking about how you're going to operate during these times. Obviously, you're going to take into consideration, first of all, what's going on in your community in terms of the virus and in terms of any kinds of restrictions that are being put in place for social distancing or gathering. You also want to keep in mind your own health and your own risk and figure out, where do you fall? Are you a high risk individual? Are you a lower risk individual? But once you take those two things into consideration, I think it's important that you think ahead about how you're going to engage with your donors and prospects. What I mean by that is, are you willing to go meet people face to face? Are you willing to meet them in a coffee shop? Are you willing to only meet them in your home or in your office? Or do you want to continue to do things virtually as much as possible? I think it's important to think these things out ahead of time and to talk to your boss, to your board, to codify some of these. Because it's much easier to tell a donor who wants to meet with you face to face, I'm sorry, but our company's policy is that we're doing meetings virtually for the time being, if that's what your policy is. Think too about, do you want to have a mask with you? Do you want to ask your donor to mask, etc.? Regardless of all of these things, you want to also take the lead from your donor. If they want to meet in a way that you're not comfortable with because it's less strict, then you want to revert back to your own policies. But if they're not comfortable meeting and you are, you do what they want to do because you need to be respectful of their time and of their boundaries. That's this week's Fundraising Friday. Thanks. Have a great weekend.